Hi, I'm Jose Carlos Azua, candidate for the Twilio Apprenticeship program. Today I will be presenting Outbook.us, a industry collaborative group project that we did for the San Francisco government. A short synopsis of what the project entailed was that the San Francisco government wanted an application where their potential candidates for being interviewed have a seamless process of selecting time slots in their interviewer's calendar. However, their current solution was all paper trail, and they were using the Outlook calendar. Um, they were using the Outlook calendar to schedule these appointments manually. So we wanted to come up with a unique way where it was seamless and there was not too much of a learning curve to do it on. So we came up with Outbook using the Outlook's calendar API, and this is the project. I was the lead backend engineer for this project, and some of the stuff that we needed to account it for was the authentication of the interviewer. So we look in here in the helper functions for the interviewer. As soon as they log in, we get their credentials and we store each of their tokens, their access token, their refresh tokens, into the database so it can be used later on. So one of the challenges that we came across was having to continuously re-authenticate the interviewer. So we did Stack Overflow of how to run these types of jobs. And see, here we get the access token, and it was very difficult to try to come up with it. And so we used a refresh token, and we saw that it worked. However, we wanted to know exactly how to use it. So after some thorough research and some knowledge that I dug up from before of other websites that I've created through WordPress and using cPanel, I remember one thing called cron jobs. And here, if we go into the server.js file, we see this run cron jobs. So it refreshes the token, the helper function that we created of refreshing tokens. And this continuously kept the user logged in. Another thing, we built sort of like a microservice application, so the front end is completely separated from the back end. So we had to disable cores in order to achieve that here in the server.js. So storing those tokens within the interviewer schema, if you see here, access token, refresh tokens, and the ID token, and then running those cron jobs really helped solve that solution. Now, another challenging problem that we were facing was the interviewers had big blocks of time availability. So whenever the candidate would go on from the front end to book a time slot with the interviewer, they would book the entire block, when in reality their workflow only suggested up to 30 minutes at most. So when we got that data back from the API, we realized that we had to split up those time slots and return it back and fill up the interviewer's calendar with 30-minute segments of availability they had originally put for 2 hours. So if we go down here in the cal.js in the helpers folder, we're able to see where we did that, where we divide them by 15 minutes, make the appointments 15 minutes long by adding 15 minutes at the end. So this way it would get the initial and resend it back. And that way it was easier for the candidate to select 15-minute time segments, and we're able to schedule appropriate times with the interviewer from the San Francisco government. It is an open source project, so one of the rewarding things that we had to come across, and that I had to come across as a lead backend engineer, was documentation of the entire application. So kind of putting code into documentation was kind of challenging because I had to put all my thoughts on paper pretty much, and this is the result of it. You see here the routes that were available and other things to note. And we really made it sure that anybody can really implement this if they have a Outlook calendar API or they have an Outlook account. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope I get considered to move on to the next round. I did post the link of the GitHub repo on the application. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.